Hey guys, welcome back to a big week of the Collingwood Connection episode. Just after that Anzac Day clash, I'm sure all Collingwood supporters are very happy. The traditional clash between the Pies and the Bombers got 92,231 fans there to witness a great victory by the Magpies. Essendon 9-6-60, defeated by the Pies 20-17-137, a 77 point thumping in the end. And I'm sure you're smiling like a Cheshire cat there, Fossil. What are your first thoughts and how are we feeling about that?
Oh, absolutely magnificent, William. I said, well, I'll be the only bloke at work on Monday. All of the Essendon supporters, mate, the old pots will be driving in. They'll be in the dunny, sitting on each other's knees with the doors locked. But no, it was a magnificent effort. It's good, William, that we're starting to kick some scores, which is really good. I think 2017 will probably be our highest score for a fair while. And things are starting to click and they look good. And it was a really great team effort and a great win by the boys. And I'm sure all the supporters, like you said, will be very happy.
Yeah, exactly. And that man Scott Pendlebury, he was getting the Pendles cheers going around, and like we said this earlier in the season, he could probably play to his 50 plus. Fossil is an absolute weapon. They're talking about is he the greatest player of all time? So yeah, he's in that conversation, which shows you how good he is. And he's got a little apprentice in the side called Nick Dacos as well, who isn't doing too bad himself. So no. Very happy, a very frustrating first half, as I'm sure a lot of Magpie supporters feel that we could have, easily had the game out of reach nearly at half time, and then the third and fourth quarter, at least they finally put it together and started to put it on the scoreboard. So very happy with that, and we'll get to our quarter by quarter breakdown. Fossils starting off with that first quarter.
Yeah, first quarter. Well, yeah, we got off not to a bad start. We kicked 4 goals straight, which is really good for us. Normally it's 1 goal 4 or 1 goal 3 or
Oh,
something,
don't count your chickens before that second quarter.
but they started well. Though. No, the 4 goals was good, and I think I was very impressed with Anderson, William. I think he's really starting to learn his trade now, and I think he's a good one. So he's going to be the future of the midfield. Uh, I think the forward line is starting to play a lot better too. I think, like I noticed a few went over the back, William, because they weren't all fine to get, and we got a couple of cheap goals. And against the good sides, that's what you got to do. But I think in our field kicking, and they look really sharp. Well, they looked a lot quicker than they did last week. They seem to be moving pretty well. Maybe, but that's their confidence is up, and they move the ball very well, and makes it so much easier for the forwards when they do that. But the midfield I thought was really good. You got to go in there for a bit of power. Then you got our quick players rotating through there, and I think they look really, really good and smart, and they put a lot of pressure on the Essendon's back line. And Lipinski and Elliott are starting to find a bit of form too, which I think sort of spreads the load. We had, I think, 12 goal kickers for the game, which is a good even spread. So, it keeps the other teams guessing a bit where we're going. And I thought, yeah, like for the amount of play, we probably could have been a few more goals in front, but at least it was four straight to 2 3/4 time. And I think the coach would have been happy, but just probably a few more goals.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll give a mention to Lipinski and Hayes. I hadn't touched on them much this episode, but they were very good. And Lipinski, especially since that fourth quarter last week against Carlton, he's really taking it on, and he's going in hard for the ball too. Like I've noticed, they might have got into him and said, you got to show us a bit more and not be that out. I know he's an outsider, but it doesn't mean that when the ball's there to be won, you've got to take your opportunity, and that's exactly what Lipinski's been doing. And Will Hayes, even though he didn't get a lot of possessions, but he's starting to look, more comfortable at the level, and he did a couple of nice things, especially earlier on in the game as well. So, no, that was very positive to see. And with that second quarter, basically dominant everywhere. But where it counts, Fossil. Durham started off that quarter 2-on-1. He marked the footy and goes back and slots the goal. Like they did that at the start of the second and third quarter, but we didn't give them that many opportunities afterwards, which was good. But we let ourselves down really in front of the big sticks. Nick Dacos, he had a couple of gettable shots and missed both of them. Houston then found Elliott, who probably should have taken the shot, but he passed it off to McCreary, who got our only goal for the quarter. That was before Dacos, had a hand pass and missed his third opportunity. So he had three behinds by halfway through the second. It could have been a completely different game by then. But the pressure was really good. We can't other than the big sticks, it was actually a pretty good quarter by us. We were making them turn the ball over between the 50 and the center line, which is what you want. But one goal five, and yeah, we're just not. Elliot missed another one, which he usually would, take the opportunity. So yeah, just very disappointing. And we're up by 15 points with 6 minutes to go, and it should have been 5 to 6 goals. And luckily, young May for the Bombers missed, but. Overall, inside 50s, possession and field position, we were just absolutely dominant, just not on the scoreboard. And the second term, it's a pretty ugly one, not one I'm going to rewatch. It was 1-1-7 to the Bombers and 1-6-12 to the Pies. We took a 36 to 22 point lead at half time.
You
Have I,
know,
have I got
you
you?
say
Yeah.
that, but in quarter we started the I think we 6 or 7, 13 scored shots in the quarter not too bad. As well. Well, so we're hitting the woodwork pretty well also. But yeah, no, they were really dominant. They hit the ball hard and they seemed to have it on a string and they just outplayed them all over the ground. But unfortunately, well, 6-7's not too bad. But they could have easily kicked 10. They missed a few sitters, but they had their confidence up and still looked dangerous at times, which is good. And I think that the good thing about it, Will, is they're giving these young blokes 2 or 3 weeks in a row instead of playing half a game or on the bench, and I think they get more confident. You can see Pendlebury talking to him all the time, and he's still taking up possessions. And I think, the Aussies just learned so much off Pendles and the experienced guys, and you can just see the way they're moving around the ground. I think they're starting to get their mojo back, and they're using the ball a lot better too. A couple of weeks ago was pretty shy at Housen, but I think that's what happens with confidence. Everybody's doing their bit. The whole back line's playing well as a unit, so they'd be very pleased. Other than that one game against the Bears, I think we've kept them, most of the other teams to reasonable scores where we weren't kicking them ourselves. But I think the coach would be very happy, and they're just playing like a really good team. William, we mightn't have the stars of some of the top sides, but they're just playing well as a unit, and that's all we can do. And I think it'll install a lot of confidence into the group, and I think also with a few plays in the who's putting pressure on these guys that are in the side have got to keep playing well, or else it could be see you later. But it's a good thing to have, and hopefully we can get Maury back, and that'll fire us up a bit more. But no, I'm very pleased and very happy with the way they're playing. I think the coaching staff they've done a fantastic job. Will.
Yeah, exactly. Your connection at the start there, Fossil, was as good as Channel 7 and KO, so you might have to move around a bit. But just with that third quarter, just to mention, even though they do it all through the game, but I thought Quaynor and Maynard, their defensive connection is absolutely elite. In a marking contest, they're always helping each other out, but not just that, they were hemmed in on the boundary line a couple of times and they helped each other 1-2 hand pass and got themselves out of trouble. That's what the experience will give you, but I think they're working especially really well together right now. So well done to those two. And we got on to that fourth quarter, 9 goals, Fossil. If you can believe it, we're the team that can't score. We're lucky to kick 9 goals in some of the games this year, but managed to really pile it on in that fourth quarter, which was really good to see. Um, Roughly 7 minutes to go in that quarter, a stat came up. We had 60 to 15 uncontested possessions, so that just sort of showed how the game was panning out, and not a lot of pressure coming from the Bombers, but credit to our boys. They were running on top of the ground, and we're really putting it to the Bombers. Started dominating out of the middle. That Steam to Dacos combination is a masterclass, and it's getting better by the week. And Pendlebury just running around doing whatever he wanted. He was setting up goals. De Goey went bang bang, and really the icing on the cake when that Pendles cheer started going around. He kicked his second goal, personal record, 43 touches for him, along with a record fourth Anzac Day medal. So an absolute freak, a great win by the Pies, and yeah, we really took it out. We took it out 2017 137 to 9660, a 77 point win. So you got to be pretty happy with that. And who's your pat on the back for this week, Fossil?
Oh, I think Anderson again, William. He's going to be an absolute beauty, and I think like he's played 3 games now, But as he see you watch Pendles, he's talking to him all the time, and he's taking everything in, and where to run, and when to take off, when to not do. And I think he's just so lucky he's got such a good player like Pendles around. He just directs the traffic, and I'm sure these young kids will learn so much. That'll put a good in for the future with the other young boys when they get a chance. And if Pendles is still around, you can just learn so much. He is really for the team and for the club. So hats off to Pendles. That's a pleasure to watch him play, Will.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's been a master for a long time. I'll get to the negatives and positives. I skipped a step here, but my pat on the back was to Rowan Steele. He's looking more and more confident at the level, oh, sorry, more comfortable as well. Rewarded for his hard work with a couple of goals. He finished with 18 disposals, 8 score involvements, and his first goal of the game. So, well done to Rowan, and I think he'll be keeping his spot on that side for a bit longer. And Fossil, the negatives out of the game.
Yeah, I've only got one negative, unfortunately, Will, but it's not fair. But it's the way it is. Like,
Sorry about that, guys. We just had some connection issues, just like KO and Channel 7. So the fossils shifted around a bit and found himself a nice spot. So the negatives out of the game, Fossil.
I think memory William, unfortunately, he kicked 4 goals and did that, but when you kick 2017 and your power forward doesn't hit the scoreboard, it's not a good thing. And I think with the side we're playing next week, we probably need 3 strong forwards. Sicily, Barras. They got 3 good players down back, so I think it's either Buller or West deserves a chance. Buller kicked 5, and I think West kicked 4. So I think they got to look at one of these guys, and because we need another strong marking forward. And but memory gets too far up the ground, William, and he's not hitting the scoreboard. So I think he needs a spell, and maybe being in one of those 2 young fellas.
Well, the VFL form, I'm sure some others have seen it, but yeah, 4 goals to Westy and 5 to Buller. Like these guys, you've eventually got to give them their opportunity. And I know I've been a bit negative on Membry, but they can't really talk about the supply or anything yesterday. Yeah, in terms of value, yeah, we're probably not paying him as much, but we also need to get that contribution. And other than that one game, like you said, against the Giants, and I know our forward line have struggled this year, but if you may as well give someone like West or well, we thought Howes would be more of a forward too, but Buller, he's kicked 7 goals the last 2 weeks in the VFL, so surely he's going to get a chance soon, and that just give their confidence that they'll get that opportunity if they work hard, and a week in the VFL might do him the world of good too. So hopefully he can find some form himself and then come back into the lineup. So yeah, we'll see what happens come selection. The positives out of this one, so there were a lot of them, but I'll try and get some dot points through the not since last July have we kicked 100 points in the game, and we managed to kick 15, 11, 101 and a half fossils, so that was pretty good. Thumping the Dons, I can't stand them like yourself, Fossil, and you've got some lovely workmates who are Bombers fans, but it's just extra sweet to get the victory over them. Angry Anderson, 14 touches, but he's hitting the scoreboard now, 2 goals, too. The pressure from the front half, it's back to when we're at our best when our forwards are getting that pressure up, and then it's just forcing the Bombers back at times and making them, create those turnovers, which led to us, with that sort of scoreline in the end. So that was really good. And lastly, he needs his flowers to Jeremy Howe. Relatively short backline. We have Billy Frampton and Jeremy Howe. So some people thought the matchups with Peter Wright and Blackiston, young May, they've got a pretty tall forward line when they do put them all down there. So he's just done awesome with game high 5 spoils, but also he helped himself to 18 touches and 12 marks. So awesome game by Howe. He's had his injury issues, as we know, but he's just finding the right sort of form now and hopefully can keep continuing with that. So we'll get to the CC Player of the Year votes. Fossil, we'll start off with your 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, well, you have 3 Pendles. Yeah, you get 43 disposals, 10 marks, 2 goals, and he just brought players into the game each quarter. So Pendle for me. Nick Dacos had 42, 8 marks. Didn't have his kicking boot on though, Will he? Kicked 0-4, and he's
Yeah.
normally good for 2 or 3 if he had a kick straight. And then there was a stack of them lined up, but I still thought Houston played very well, William. He had 27 disposals, 8 marks. couple of tackles, but the whole back line's playing really well. But I gave Houston the one vote.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been a stack of players. They all, more than probably three quarters of our players had really good games. So that's only a good sign for us as a team. So we'll take that. But I'm the same with you for the first two. Pendlebury 43 touches, a record at 38. You shouldn't be allowed to do things at 38 years old, but a couple of goals and 19 score involvements, obviously one of the biggest on record in terms of score involvement. So that's just absolutely awesome. Nick Dacos things. He wasn't as clean in the first half, but he got his game going and just broke out of the centre. I think he had, six centre clearances. So if he had a kick accurately, he might have been in the argument for the medal, but Pendlebury had that covered pretty well. And Josh Dacos, I think we've got to give him his flowers at times because he's playing second fiddle essentially to his younger brother, but he's an absolute gun himself. And 35 touches, 8 marks, 11 score involvements is not a bad game. So I gave him the one vote. So three Pendlebury, two Nick Dacos, and one to Josh Dacos for that one. So the season leaderboard as we have it, I'll just do the top three, is Nick Dacos on 26. Houston's got 14, and between Maynard, Josh Dacos, and Pendles all have 8 each. So Nick Dacos is a bit of a runaway leader at the moment, Fossil, but yeah, overall the team's playing pretty well together.
You couldn't be more happy with them. No, they're just playing a good team game, and they got their confidence up. But yeah, hopefully we continue the next couple of weeks because we've got three fairly tough games coming up, I think. So that'll sort us out. But if the boys can get through there and maybe win two out of the three, I think the coach will be very happy.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a pretty tough draw. Not that the other clubs want to hear about it, because Collingwood just gets shafted with, regardless, they want to have Collingwood be the focus and get 80,000 people to the MCG. So they want us against the better sides. And, everyone wants to talk about how many times we travel a year. Well, no different to Carlton, Essendon, Richmond. So they can keep complaining. I think it's a bit of jealousy creeping in as well. So anyway, the game day prediction result, Fossil. So we're up to $50, guys, for next week against the Hawks. One person particularly got close, but the total disposals are 62 between Sidey and Pendles. Pendles did a lot of the lifting there, Fossil, and the four goals as well. Between DeGoey, Schultz, and Membry. So DeGoey had three of them, and Schultz the one. So yeah, a lot of heavy lifting there by DeGoey. But a little shout
Mm.
out to Jeff Hassan. He predicted 58 disposals with the four goals. So a bit unlucky there, Jeff, because Pendlebury decided to turn back the clock, and but within four touches, that's a pretty decent effort. So well
Yeah,
done there
no,
to Jeff.
very good. Yeah, no, it was a good effort, William, by the boys. They're getting closer, so hopefully they'll go off at some stage.
Well, $50 now is getting a lot more enticing, and we encourage everybody. So tell your friends, tell your family, and just remember to jump on our Facebook page, Flag Pies. Give us a like. We have all the information there on the YouTube channel, and also vice versa on that Facebook page. So appreciate it, guys, and feel free. Yeah, the more comments we want to hear from you, positive or negative. We love the feedback. So thanks for that. And last comments, Fossils. So Scott Pendlebury. He'll be ruled out of that Hawks game because it's a 5-day break, and I reckon Ned Long might be his replacement. He was rested, obviously, for the VFL. So, although Ed Allen did have a good game himself, so I think he's a possibility to come back in. And I was going to finish off by saying it's going to be a pretty busy work week with you, Fossil, down the towing company. They're going to give you all the ordinary jobs, I reckon.
We nobody there will. They'll be all RDO and all the Essendon supporters, mate. They won't turn up. I'm telling you, they are weak as. I'm telling you, they give it to me, and then as soon as they lose, you can't see them. So they'll be all RDO. So I'll have a nice peaceful day tomorrow. So which will be lovely.
No, it sounds good. It's turning up to work on a Monday. My warehouse manager's a Bombers fan, but he's not too. He doesn't gloat too much. So he's a bit different to some of your guys. So anyway, Magpie Army, have a great week. I'm sure everyone enjoy those highlights and the replays. So yeah, the boys have a tough game coming up Thursday against the Hawks. So we'll have our preview episode this coming Wednesday night. That's when that'll drop, and we'll also drop that game day prediction. So, like I said, everyone get involved and have a free throw at the stumps, as they say, Fossils. So, anyway, have a good week, guys, and we'll talk to you then.
Yeah, good on you. We'll go, boys.
All right, see you, mate. Bye.
See ya.